And welcome back to the channel. My name's John Newton, and we're still talking about setting up a studio for YouTube. I know it's kind of like long and long-winded and somewhat difficult path. If you're thinking of setting up a studio, it can be tricky choosing what you need or what you're going to use. I'm going to talk briefly about cameras, webcams, and other cameras, the way that you set them up and the way that you use them. Now, the most convenient way that I've found to do it is to use a good webcam. It doesn't get in the way. It sits on the top of the monitor. You don't have to keep plugging it in and unplugging it. But choosing the right webcam can be quite difficult. Just to remind you that this video is not sponsored in any way. I've got no affiliate links. Uh, Currently, as I'm publishing this video, there's a fairly low amount of subscribers, and we don't get enough views to get any income from affiliate links, so there just aren't any here on this channel at the moment. If you want to help us, there are some donation links underneath the video, and please like and subscribe, or dislike and subscribe. That would be good. Anyway, so let's talk briefly about webcams. Now, there are a huge amount, and finding the right webcam to use for YouTube can be quite a difficult thing. Now, depending on what you want to do and how you want to do it, I suggest you get a webcam that's capable of 1080p output. Now, how you go about using that is you don't have to convert anything. Your base video will be 1080p, and the video that comes out on the screen will be 1080p. But finding the right one, well, there's loads of them around. We just go over to Thomann, which I think is the page that I tend to use, generally speaking, or the website rather, I tend to use for looking for equipment for music or reproduction or audio, that kind of stuff. And they do have a selection of webcams on here. This is not definitive of what's available. There are plenty around that you can choose from. And it's probably safe to say that it isn't always dependent on how much you spend on what sort of quality you're going to get. I priced these cameras in order of low to high. This one is only $14.90 and claims to do 1080p full HD resolution. Now, I've never tried this one. There's one that's a bit more expensive. Doesn't actually say what the resolution is on it. So go for at least a 1080p camera. One that is recommended by a lot of people is the Elgato Facecam. Some people like to use 4K webcams. They're not necessarily much better quality on screen than the 1080, but it does depend on the particular camera. And you can use ordinary cameras like mirrorless camera you can use as well. And you can use one of these uh, tracking cameras. Now, I've actually used one of these tracking cameras in the past, but it really did not work very well on my Mac, and the software didn't work very well. It didn't zoom in and out when it's supposed to. It didn't really follow me. They've got no intention of keeping the Mac software up to date. That particular company, Osbot, that is, as far as I can tell. Basically, I had to send it back. It just didn't work very well. So probably your best bet is to probably use something like one of these Elgato Facecams or the Facecam Mark II. As I understand it, the main difference between these two is that the Facecam Mark II can be adjusted or is set to reduce the amount of flicker. Now, for instance, I'm living in Europe. I actually live in Bulgaria in Eastern Europe. And the frequency of video here and the frequency of the power supply is 50 hertz. If you're in America, you're going to be 60 hertz. This may mean that if your camera is running at 50 hertz and you've got a 60 hertz power supply, then you may get some flicker. So it's worth checking that out. I found that on this particular camera that I'm using at the moment, you can adjust it between 50 and 60 hertz to reduce flicker. Now, so it's a good thing to look out for. You can use virtually, like I said, virtually any camera, but you will need a separate interface if you use a standard camera. If you use something like, what's the most popular, they say here? I actually find it quite difficult to imagine that this is actually the most popular camera that they sell. But you could, in theory, use this as a kind of like a webcam. You're going to need an interface that can take the output of that. You may need some other bits and bobs to make it work. So something that is nice and simple, like I said, is a webcam. And quite often you can get something quite reasonable for quite a decent price. Probably look at something around the price of the face cam, and you're probably going to get better image quality. And make sure that when you buy it, you can send it back. So look at the terms and conditions of the website that you're using, and see what it is that you need to do in order for you to be able to send it back if it isn't quite what you're looking for. Now, I went through a bit of a process. I tried 3 different webcams before I settled on the particular one that I've got. I'm also waiting for another piece of equipment to try out a mirrorless camera on here to see what that's like, but I haven't quite got everything that I need for it. But the camera that I chose for this particular channel was the Brio 4K Stream Edition. These tend to be available in shops, retail outlets. I actually couldn't find it online anywhere, but I'm living in Bulgaria, so the chances of it being online is going to be fairly low. And buying stuff online in Bulgaria, depending on what it is, there is limited availability, regardless of what anybody says here. There is limited availability of electronics here in Bulgaria. And Amazon doesn't function in Bulgaria at all. In fact, Amazon doesn't sell into markets that don't use the Latin alphabet, like the American alphabet or the English alphabet. So, for instance, in Bulgaria, we use the Cyrillic alphabet here, and in Greece they use a type of Cyrillic alphabet there as well, the Greek alphabet. And so in those countries where they use a non-Latin alphabet, Amazon doesn't have any sales outlet. If I want to order something off of Amazon, I have to order it from Germany. It takes about 8 days to reach me, and I have to pay about 15 euros for the pleasure of receiving some off Amazon. They don't do any next day. They don't do any free deliveries into Bulgaria. So you are restricted. I quite often use Thomann for a lot of the stuff that I buy, predominantly because they've got a really good selection. They're probably got one of the biggest selections of electronics and music equipment in Europe. And I think even people in the UK and America use Thomann because of their large selection. So yeah, again, I'm just to let you know, I'm not sponsored. I don't get anything for telling you about this. And they do have a 30-day return policy. So if you find that what you've got isn't what you expected, then, or it doesn't do what you want, you can send it back. Although if you're not living in Europe, it can be quite tricky. And it is a long-winded process for me living in Bulgaria if I need to send something back. The process can take 3 weeks before I get my money back. So just a word of warning there, if you're buying off of a European site, it can take a long time. So that's a brief word about cameras. If I get a mirrorless camera set up here, I'll produce a couple of videos on that in the not too distant future once I've got what I need. I need another one of these boom arms so I can put the camera above the monitor. At the moment, the webcam sits quite nicely on the top of the screen, and I think it gives a decent view as far as I'm concerned. Now, the other thing that we've got to briefly talk about, I feel, is we've got to talk about lighting, and lighting can be a bit of an issue. Um, it is quite tricky, I think, and I think it's worth talking about what kind of lighting that you might want or how you're going to go about lighting your set or where you're going to do your uh, videos. Now, you really do need some kind of lighting. I don't care what anybody says, you can do it in front of a window, but during the winter, I don't know where you live, but if you live in a country where the light is pretty low during the winter, then you're going to need some extra lighting. And it is worth spending some time looking into what kind of lighting that you want. Now, I bought myself a ring light, and I got the Elgato ring light. Let's see if it's available on Thomann. Let's go back to Thomann and see whether they've got it. Let's put ring light in here. Ring light. Did I spell that right? I don't know. Let's just see. There are some ring lights there. I did notice actually the other day that they had Elgato's ring light listed as discontinued. I don't think it is. They may just be short of supply. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to, let's have a look here. Products. And what we want to do is we want to do Elgato. So let's just do a search for Elgato. It's easier. Elgato. And video spotlights. They've only got one in there at the moment. So anything else in here? Nope. So the ring light is not really showing up here at the moment for some reason or other. They do have their cameras, like I said before, in there. A couple of these are out of stock or in stock or whatever. I don't know about this Facecam Pro 349. Some people seem to like it and some people don't. It's not a full 4K resolution. It's like semi 4K resolution, if that matters. Yeah, I don't know why the ring light is not showing up. Let's do a quick web search for Elgato ring light. Elgato ring light. Let's see what it does. There we go. Ring light Elgato. Yeah. So this is the one that I've got. Let's just double check and make sure that you can see it. Yep, you can. And I found it really, really good. The light is very even. If you look directly at the light, you get little rings in the iris of your eyes. If you don't, you just get it just above. Depends on how detailed people are looking. And I would highly recommend this if you can get it. It's maybe they're bringing out a new version of it. What I particularly like is the fact that it comes with a clamp that you can clamp to your desk. This one is shown on a stand. The one I bought came with a clamp, so you could clamp it directly to the desk. And so that's the way that I have it set up. Yeah. So for some reason or other, you don't seem to be able to buy it at the moment. Don't know why that is. It is on sale here, but it's not the one that I got. So let's see what they've got here. Lights. What have they got in the lights? Ring light, key light air, key light mini, light strips, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so that's the one that I bought, and you know, which one that you get is up to you. You can do all kinds of things. You can buy various different lights, and you can spend an arm and a leg. You really can. There's a huge amount of money can be spent on lighting, and you know, it's up to you how much you spend and what sort of look you want to get. And also think about the ambience of your room that you're using. In this particular room, and if you notice on a lot of videos on YouTube, they've always got some kind of light in the background. Where is it? Over there? No, that way. There it is. And I've got a light on the floor shining up against the wall to give the room that I'm in a little bit of depth. Otherwise, it looks really, really flat. Whether you have an on-air sign or not, I don't know. This it's weird because when you look at the video, it's flipped. So what I'm seeing is back to front, like I'm looking in a mirror. So that adds confusion to it as well. I hope you found this series on things that you might want to look at when you're setting up a studio. Take your time. Don't buy it all at once. Don't buy stuff that you're not sure about. Or if you do, at least make sure that you're buying it from a place that you can send it back to if it's not exactly what you want or how you expected it to work. I'm pretty happy with the webcam that I'm using. It was pricier than I expected at the time. I can't remember. I think it was about maybe €200, the webcam that I bought, or just under. But you can buy some very cheap ones and try them out and see whether they're good enough. Your video doesn't have to be 720 or 1080 or 4K. It will be whatever you want it to be, and the quality of it you'll be able to tell as soon as you've done your first video. You don't have to upload the first video that you've made, obviously. Take your time and decide what it is we want to do and how you're going to go about doing it. Like I said, I hope you found that this short series on setting up a YouTube studio to be useful. Please like and subscribe. There's more stuff coming on this channel in the not too distant future. What it's going to be about, well, you'll just have to wait and see. And I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you didn't like it, please put a thumbs down as well. So you take care, and we hope to see you soon. Ciao for now.